In today's video, I want to help answer the question of what tool to use when it comes to, do you use a Google search or do you use a reasoning tool like ChatGPT, Google Bard, or Bing Chat? Search engines like Google have been around for a long time now, and people are really familiar with using them, and we use them every single day. Tools like ChatGPT burst onto the scene in 2022, and people have seen the amazing things you can do with it, but it does start asking the question of, well, which tool do I start using? Do I use Google search? Do I use ChatGPT? Really, what tool is beneficial for me? And I think it's really, what you'd want to do is break it down into two categories. A search engine like Google is a really simple input-output where you're looking for a specific answer. Say, for example, you're looking for the weather for today. You could be looking for a recipe for lasagna, for example, or you're looking for a specific website, or you know exactly what you're after. You're searching for it and it's going to give you your question straight to the answer. So it's a search engine. Tools like ChatGPT, they're really classified as a reasoning engine, and they allow you to get a lot more information and more conversational with the data, which means you can do a lot more with these tools, but really you can also waste a lot of time when you're just simply searching for an answer. So when you're using a reasoning tool like ChatGPT, I like to think of the acronym called RISCS, which stands for research, ideation, creation, summarization, and of course, simulation. So that means that if you're doing research on a particular topic, a tool like ChatGPT is going to make it way easier for you to do that research, because you can have the conversational flow and you can really grow on that data. Whereas a Google search, you're opening up a whole bunch of different tabs. Ideation, you can use it as a conversation again, and you're basically talking to the tool like you would a person, but that person has a whole bunch more information than you or I on basically any topic. Summarization, awesome when you have a whole bunch of data and you want to collate it together, because you can basically say, here is everything, summarize it for me, make it really neat and compact. Creation, it helps you create, or what I like to call the imperfect first draft, where you can actually start drafting out whatever you may be using AI tools to really get you on your way. And then of course, simulation, where you can ask it to use a prompt similar to like an act as, and say, act as a expert in whatever field, and really have a conversation with that expert. What we're going to do now is actually jump on the computer, and we're going to have a side-by-side comparison of when you'd use a tool like a Google search versus when you'd use a tool like ChatGPT, to see which one actually works best in different scenarios. On the left-hand side here, we have a simple Google search, and on the right-hand side, we're using Bing Chat as our AI comparison. Bing Chat actually uses ChatGPT 4, so it uses the ChatGPT that everyone knows and loves, but it's the latest version of it. It is free if you sign in with your Microsoft account, and it is also connected to the internet, whereas the regular ChatGPT 3.5 has the database locked into 2021. So I like using this as the main AI tool for me, but of course, any AI tool will give you very similar answers. So let's start with a simple query of what is the weather today from Google, and it's going to load that straight away. So you can see here a simple question, and we get the answer basically instantaneously. Simple input, simple output. We know the weather today in our location is 22 degrees and it might rain. Bing Chat on the other side is actually taking a little bit more time to load, because it says, I don't know your exact weather. Then it sort of guesses you're in Sydney, and it gives me the forecast for the week. But for a simple input like this, it actually takes a lot longer to load. So a Google search is perfect. What if, you, for example, you were going to Hamilton Island on a holiday in August and you want to know the weather around that time? Well, let's actually ask it. What is the weather in Hamilton Island in August? And the Google search on the left-hand side answers straight away. It gives you a breakdown of the highs and the lows and the expected rain for July, August, and September. And it even bolds August, so it makes it easy for you to realize that's the month you're going in. On the right-hand side, the Bing Chat gives us very similar information, and it shows us the sources of it. But I actually think Google does a much easier and nicer way of presenting this information, whereas the Bing Chat gives you a lot more text that you have to read. Again, a simple question. Bing Chat gives you a much more complicated answer. Google wins again. But what if you're planning a family holiday to Hamilton Island and you wanted to actually get more information than just the weather? You wanted things like places to stay, places to eat, places to go. Well, this is actually where you're doing research. Remember the RISCS, we're doing some research here, and this is where the Bing chat or the AI tool will actually have a much better advantage over a simple Google search. So we'll tell it that we're going there for a family holiday in August. Can you suggest some places to eat, see, and stay? So we've asked Bing Chat, we're going to go there. We said there, not Hamilton Island, but at Nukes, it's a conversation. There, meant Hamilton Island. So we're going there and we want places to eat, places to see, and of course, places to stay. And it's already broken down a few spots here, and it's given it in a nice, really easy format of restaurants, places to see, and places to stay. And then it shows us the resources there below as well. So it starts collating all that information for us. The Google search, however, I'm going to ask that exact same question, and I will give it an advantage here. I'm going to write, we're going to Hamilton Island, and then ask the same question. But you can see on the Google search, it really just gives us a bunch of resources and links, but it doesn't give us all that much information. And of course, we'd have to delve into all these different links and have a whole bunch of different tabs while we're doing this research. We might say we're actually traveling with a child. We've got my 8-year-old niece with us. What are some kid-friendly activities? So we don't have to tell it we've got an 8-year-old going to Hamilton Island in August. The Bing chat knows that it is already part of that conversation thread, and it's starting to give us some kid-friendly activities by simply asking, we've got a child with us, what are some places and things for that kid to do? The same question to Google though, I'm just going to copy and paste it. It's not going to really know, where can I play with my niece, fun things to do with a kid, has no idea that we're talking about Hamilton Island. So you can see here that when we're doing research and we're essentially creating something right now, we're creating an itinerary for our trip to Hamilton Island. Bing Chat is a lot more advantageous, or the AI tool gives a lot more features because you're having a conversation with it and it remembers what you're talking about before. So what I want to dig into now is actually the summarization of this, because as great as it is, it's actually all in different dot points. I'm going to ask it to, can you put all this information into a summary itinerary so I can share it with my family? I actually spelled itinerary incorrectly, so let's see if it picks it up. Autocorrect should, but let's actually find out. So it's going to say, here is here is a summary of the information I provided you. It started with our first question of what is the weather up there. So it remembered that we wanted to have the weather forecast for that time. It's given the information of a few restaurants to eat, some of the best places to stay, and of course some kid-friendly activities. So we can now copy all of this, that summarization, and drop it into our family chat. And there you go. Instead of having all these different links, we've got a really nice way of just summarizing all that information. Now I want to move into the creativity aspect of it and say, let's get my 8-year-old niece excited about this trip. Can you write me a short story to tell her about the upcoming trip? And what we've asked here is we've given it some emotive words like excited and short story. So it's actually started writing a story now based on the information above to get my 8-year-old niece excited about going to Hamilton Island. So we did research, we had a conversation with the tool. You can see here it's still actually writing out that really short story about a little girl named Lily who loves going on adventures. It's summarized all the information for us, and then we've got a short story as well that we can read to our niece and get her really excited about this upcoming family trip. So what you can see here is that the Google search was great for that simple question of what is the weather? What is a specific thing that I'm searching for? Hence the name, the search engine. But the reasoning engine on the other side, we have the Bing chat. We actually had a conversation around the information. We got to ask it questions back and forth. We had to we could build on it, we could ask it different things, use emotive language, and we could actually really do a lot more with the Bing chat on the right hand side. So going back to what tool to use when, do you use a Google search or do you use an AI tool like ChatGPT? I really think it comes down to what is the reason and what are you searching for. If you're asking for a specific output like that Google search of I want this specific thing, Google is going to give you a much faster result and it's going to be very accurate because you know exactly what you're after. But if you're doing things like researching or creating or ideating or summarizing, the AI tool can do a lot more with the data that you give it and you have a much more conversational flow. So you can actually get a lot more granular and a lot more detail out of the AI tool. And because it has that history of the conversation, you don't have to keep re-prompting it with words like Hamilton Island or family trip or anything like that, because it knows and it keeps that history. So I don't see search tools going away anytime soon. I think they're still a really important tool that we use every single day. But what hopefully this video has given you is some ideas in how you can use a Google search and when that's really the best tool for you. And then of course, when a tool like ChatGPT or Bing Chat is actually going to give you better, faster results. I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And of course, if you want to supercharge the way to your computer, hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.